The call came late, crackling through Father Cartwright's ancient landline at St. Paul's Cathedral. Travis Kincaid slumped in a pew, rubbing sleep from his eyes, while Elias Blackwood paced, thumbing his dad's worn journal. Kyle, bearded, wiry, all survivalist grit, leaned against a pillar, sharpening an obsidian chunk with a pocket knife.
"Vatican's got a job,"
Father Cartwright said, voice gravelly.
"Derinkuyu, Turkey, shadow wraiths, tourists missing, tremors shaking the place. You're the only ones I'd trust down there."
Travis groaned. This better be worth the jet lag. I've got a deadline. Elias muttered. If it's wraiths, it's never good news. Kyle shrugged, packing 4 holy water canteens into his bag. Long as the ground holds, I'm in. They landed in Cappadocia under a gray sky, dust kicking up around their boots. A local guide, Jem, met them at the tunnel entrance. A wiry guy with twitchy hands and a tight smile. Cardinal Ricci went in last week, he said, glancing at the dark maw of Derinkuyu. Vatican man. Said he'd handle it. Haven't seen him since. Travis adjusted his camera, smirking. Great. Another ghost story with a body count. Elias nodded at the whitewashed stone. This place feels wrong already. Kyle hefted his pack, obsidian clinking. Well, let's move before it gets worse. They descended, flashlights cutting through the thick, still air. Shadows jittered along the walls, too quick to be theirs. The tunnels twisted tight, ceilings low enough to graze Kyle's head. Travis narrated into his mic. Derinkuyu, ancient city, carved deep. Vatican says wraiths. I say prove it. Elias flipped pages, voice low. Dad's notes mention this place. Binding ground. Not a refuge. Weird script on the walls. Jem lagged behind, muttering. Heard things down here before. Whispers. Hums. Travis ribbed him. You signed up for this, Jem. Buck up. But the air was heavy, pressing like a hand on their chests. Kyle's light caught a black streak, liquid, glistening. That's not water, he said, stepping back. The hum started then, faint, grinding, like stone on stone. Deeper in, the tunnels felt alive. Passages looping, walls sprouting jagged edges. Travis's camera hummed, picking up static whispers that clawed at the silence. Elias squinted at the carvings, angular, pulsing faintly under his beam. These match Dad's sketches, he said, tracing a line. The bound curse those who bind. Sound familiar? Travis snorted. Sounds like a bad movie tagline. Kyle kicked a pebble, grunting. Sounds like a trap to me. Jem's voice shaked. I heard that last year. Tourists went missing after. Never ends well. They pushed on, finding a chamber with a cracked slab in the center. Black ooze seeping from its edges. A snapped rosary lied nearby. Ricci's. Travis knelt, filming. Cardinal's been here. Not a good sign. Kyle tossed an obsidian rock at the wall. It clattered, and shadows darted. Wraiths, flickering. But they didn't lunge. They're pacing, he said, eyes narrowing. Elias splashed holy water from his canteen. The wraiths hissed, recoiling, but reformed sharper, edges glinting like blades. Travis snapped. What's their game? They're not charging like in Seattle. The hum grew, rattling their teeth. Jem's hands trembled. We should have stayed topside. This isn't right. Travis turned, voice sharp. You want to run? Go. But we're finishing this. Elias cut in. Hold up. These carvings aren't containment. They're pleas. Look at the words. Forgive us. Something's off here. Kyle's shadow stretched long, moving when he didn't. He cursed, stepping back. Off? This place is screwing with us. Travis's beam caught a flicker, a silhouette with no source, gone in a flash. The whispers sharpened, echoing their voices.
You brought us light.
Tension spiked. Kyle gripped an obsidian chunk, muttering. They're toying with us, waiting for something. Elias nodded, flipping pages. Dad wrote about race adapting. In Seattle, they fed on fear. Here, they're planning. Jem's breath hitched. Planning what? Travis smirked, masking his nerves. Guess we're the lucky ones that get to find out. The air tightened, shadows pooling like oil. Kyle stepped slow, voice low. Feel that? Walls are closer. Elias grabbed his arm. It's not your head. Look! The tunnel shrunk, stone pressed in. The hum's a growl now, and Travis's camera glitched. His reflection on the screen twisted, eyes black. They stumbled into a wider cavern, walls scarred with more carvings. The slabs there, oozing thicker, black streaks snaking across the floor. Travis filmed it, voice steady despite the shaking in his hands. This is it. Ground zero. Kyle's light caught a figure. Cardinal Ricci, stepping from the dark. His robes hung ragged, but his eyes weren't black. They were a bloodshot red. Boys, he rasped, voice cracked. I messed up. Travis lowered his canteen, stunned. You're not possessed? Ricci laughed, a bitter, broken sound. No, just stupid. Thought I could bind them tighter. They showed me the truth instead. Elias stepped forward, journal tight in his grip. Spit it out, Cardinal. What truth? The Cardinal swayed, hands trembling. They were us, guardians, humans once, sworn to shield the underworld's gates. A satanic cult came, promised protection from Rome's purges, cursed us instead, bound us to shadows to replace the living. Kyle cut in, voice hard. Replace us for what? Ricci's grin twisted, teeth stained red. Me, you, anyone dumb enough to feed them. They're not trapped. They're waiting. The race coiled behind them, silent, seeping into the walls. The hum spiked, a shudder running through the stone. Travis yelled, Kyle, hit him! Kyle hurled chunks of obsidian. They sunk into the wall, swallowed, useless. Jem bolted, shouting, Zarin everything! His flashlight winked out down a tunnel. Elias grabbed Ricci's arm, shaking him. How do we stop this? Ricci coughed, blood flecking his lips. You don't. They're rewriting the rules. I gave them my faith. They took my will. Travis splashed holy water. Richie flinched, skin sizzling. But the race didn't care. They retreated from sight. The cavern darkened. Kyle growled. Where'd they go? The wall cracked, revealing not a void, but a mirror, smooth and black, reflecting the trio. Their faces stared back, pale, eyeless, mouths moving silently. Travis's voice shook. They're not escaping. They're recruiting. Elias whispered, That's us. How? Richie laughed, collapsing. They don't need to fight. Just wait till you see their way for yourselves. The mirror pulsed, reflections stepping closer. Travis's smirked. Elias's grinned. Kyle's remained stoic. All wraith pale-colored. Kyle swung his canteen. It shattered against the glass, water hissing to steam. The hum swallowed their shouts, voices overlapping. Join us. Travis grabbed Elias, pulling him back. We're not them. Not yet. Kyle's fist slammed into the wall, cracking the stone. Jem's scream echoed in the distance, faint, cut short. The reflections reached out, fingers brushing the mirror's edge, and the cavern trembled, walls closing, air thinning. Travis's camera fell, lens catching their retreat. 3 figures, shadows trailing, and the mirror, empty now, humming louder than ever. Beneath the stone and shadows of Derinkuyu, we learn that the truest monsters are not the ones we bind, but the ones we become when we gaze too long into the abyss. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you don't know already, this is a continuation of the Seattle City of Secrets story, which is the first video on my channel. I had no plan to continue any kind of story with the Wraith Hunters. However, this idea just popped into my head, and I said, why not? And the ending, being somewhat of a Blair Witch found footage thing, is so on brand for this team. The question now is, will I use them for future projects? And at this point, I'm just going to say, I don't know. So yes, this story is a lot shorter than most stories I do, and I'm kind of playing around with that, so let me know if you like that shorter, or if you just want more, if you want some more meat and substance to it. So just let me know in the comments below. Alright, as always, I'm on YouTube as well as Rumble, so you can find me on both platforms. And I have a Buy Me a Coffee link. Any donations or anything are truly appreciated. And remember, it's okay to be scared sometimes. I am too. Embrace the strange, embrace creativity, embrace teamwork, and I'll see you in the next story.